Okay, cheap-ass low-effort intro, here we go! I am Ninja. My parents are the heaven and the earth. My home is my body. My power is loyalty. My magic is training. My life and my death is breathing. My body is control. My eyes are the sun and the moon. My ears are sensitivity. My laws are self-protection. My strength is adaptability. My ambition is taking every opportunity with fullness. My friend is my mind. My enemy is carelessness. My protection is right action. My weapons are everything that exists. My strategy is one foot in front of the other. My trust is in Kwon. My way is the way of the tiger. Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry, and it's time once again for a return to the way of the tiger. Now, it's been almost a week since I last recorded a video, far too long if you ask me. And don't worry, it's, as far as I know, my absence hasn't been down to any sort of virus or anything, or overstocking on toilet rolls. No, it's been more to do with the arthritis pains in my hands, making it too painful to type, and just relaxing and taking a break. You know, I finally released my latest mod for Darkest Dungeon. I'm very happy with it, and I deserved a little bit of a break, so I've been enjoying myself and relaxing. The fact that one of my hands is causing me some considerable pain has something significant to do with this, but I've had pain in this hand for over a month now. It's arthritis pains. It's not fun. Honestly, at the moment, the pain at the base of my left thumb is, yes, my left thumb as opposed to my left thumb. No, the pain at the base of my left thumb is so bad that if I had to like pull my pants down to do a pee or something, that would actually be quite uncomfortable if I used my left hand to do it. Likewise, opening a bottle, if I want to hold a bottle with my right hand, open it with the left hand, that's a problem. If I want to hold it with the left hand and open it with my right hand, that's also a problem because my thumb is around the bottle in indistinct. So I'd have to like cradle it like a sort of monkey grip without using the thumb, or like tuck it under my left arm to open a bottle. So yeah, I'm in pain at the moment. Okay, not a lot that can be done about it right now, to be honest. And I just wish it would stop hurting, really. So yeah, I've been generally not using the keyboard too much and just relaxing, watching a few other people's videos, and having a nice time. But I've been wanting to record something for the better part of a week now, and I thought, okay, stuff it, I'll give it a go. And here we are, the way of the tiger once again. When last we'd left off, we had learned the Kwon's flail kick from Togawa the Mystic, and also improved our fate modifier. So now we are lucky on 6s, which actually is it's what, 7 out of 11 now? Am I 2, 3, 4, 5? It's not 8 out of 11, is it?
That can't be right. Yeah, 8 out of 11. So yeah, we are reasonably lucky. No, it is 7 out of 11. Yeah, so we're over the halfway line. So that's good. We have 4 shuriken, and we don't know when we'll be able to claim any more. We probably won't be able to get any new ones until the next book, because they aren't that well known over here on the mainland. We are currently... So we started off down here on the island of Tranquil Dreams. We've headed up through Doomover to Mort Avalon. I believe we went through... I don't think we went through Earthsmancast. And we won't really get to go there till book 3, I think. Maybe book 2 on our way back. So we went up towards Fiendil and the Storm Giant's Causeway. And we are headed towards Quenchheart Keep, where Yaemon, the Grand Master of the Flame, and his cronies are gathering to prepare to go to the Pillars of Change and speak their words when the time is right. So what's it? Yaemon, the Master of the Flame, Mance, the Death Mage, and Honoric of the Legion of Doom. Alright. Iron Albion, of course it's Albion with a few letters in front. Glastonbury Abbey, right next to Iron Albion, because, you know, Glastonbury, and yeah, it'll be interesting, okay? Interesting. Right. Let's see how we go. Now, also, we have taken a bit of a beating, so we're down to 12 endurance, and it would be nice to get some back. You'll note we didn't get any back during our sojourn with Tagawa the Mystic. However, we did increase our kick modifier and our fate modifier. And I mentioned previously that while I missed out on the opportunity to fight a very challenging giant for a +1 punch modifier, it felt wrong to go looking for Tagawa the Mystic if I didn't know he was there. Therefore, heading through the arena and meeting the monk who informed me of Tagawa the Mystic feels more appropriate, and it is what I did the first time I played. That being said, when we get on to book 2, my memory of the book will not be as solidified as book 1. Yeah, book 1 is reasonably well remembered, to be honest, up to at least this point. Books 2 to 4 or 5, not so much. So we should be at section 70, heading towards Fortune Pass. Ah! Oh, you hate misclicks. Right. Fortune Pass, of course, being... where? Not up here. Fortune Pass here. Right, so we've roamed around this way. Which means... one moment, I'm gonna... oh dear. That is the sound of sneezing at 2:23 in the morning on a cold night. Yes, it's cold. I could be in bed. Be grateful. But coming out on this side indicates we're going around this way rather than this way. Giraffe Glenanne sounds very familiar. Does it actually feature in the adventure? It might, as the stream comes up this way, around this side of the keep. Okay, let's see. The youthful river Fortune pours down a narrow valley which winds like a snake between the escarpments of the mountains of Vision. The air becomes cooler as you climb and snow begins to fall. You turn your costume inside out so that the white lining will camouflage you in the snow. You sleep well in the past despite the cold and may restore up to 4 points of endurance, which would make up for the lack of restoring 4 points of endurance while training with Tagawa the Mystic, which is totally fine, takes us back up to a 16. Excellent. On the second day you hear a cry from around an escarpment and you move on stealthily to look. A warrior holds his sword aloft as a small group of Aurochs, birdmen, attack. As you watch, a bolt of green light speeds from his sword, felling one of the Aurochs. Will you help the warrior who is hard pressed, or hide in the snow until the Aurochs leave? Right. We are a ninja. We are on a important mission. We should not take too many unnecessary risks. However, if we wait until the monsters depart and he defeats them and they flee, and then we come sauntering out saying, "Oh look, hello, we're just passing by, what a shame we didn't turn up a few seconds ago," he's just going to go, "Yeah, right mate, you bloody idiot coward," you know. So we don't want to do that, right? This guy's clearly got a magic sword which can shoot bolts of green light. So if we help him, he's a lot less likely to turn that green light on us than if we come out afterwards and like, "Hey, look, we didn't want to help you at all. So let's go lend a hand to a traveller in need." And with that, I will do a quick recording check. All looks fine. You leap out into the air, grabbing one of the Aurochs as it swoops behind the warrior. With a powerful wrench, you break its neck. A sharp talon tears into your shoulder, lose 3 endurance. So, yeah, that's 3 of those 4 points we just regained. Which is actually a really nice way of the author making sure we don't die from taking these 3 points, right? It'd be like, lose 3 endurance if you are still alive. And the phrase, "if you are still alive" here, clearly shows that, of the 2 authors writing the book, this was not written by the same one who wrote the previous section where we regained 4 endurance points. However, the previous section may have been written after this one was written to be like, "Hey, well that's 3 points, that's a lot of damage, let's give him 4 points back." Right, so yeah, ow. With a powerful wrench, you break its neck. A sharp talon tears your shoulder, lose 3 endurance. If you're still alive, you grab your attacker's leg, pulling him down and then delivering a crippling tiger's paw to the side of its neck, as another magical bolt leaps from the warrior's sword. Seeing this, the Aurochs glide out across the valley, leaving you to continue on your way. The warrior introduces himself as Rune Weaver. Ah yes, another word name. Rune Weaver. It's just 2 words slapped together. Oh my god, the word names continue. You know that runes are a symbol used in spellmaking. He thanks you for aiding him and tells you he is a wandering adventurer who is travelling north to find pastures new after a somewhat embarrassing brush with the authorities at Mort Avalon. You walk together for a while until you come to a small hut near the source of the river. You decide to pass the night there. Runeweaver hopes to light a fire against the cold, if this is what I think it is. I do have memories of Olvar the Barbarian, and some memories of some really nice bits in the keep. But yeah, Olvar the Barbarian should be in a small hut where we stay overnight. I can't remember if Runeweaver is there at the time. If he is, maybe he'll help. Right. Yes, Olvar the Barbarian. Look, he's got some plates for protection on his arm there. They could be metal, they could be leather. I think they're looking more like metal, actually. A sword with very unusual quillons, which makes it somewhat unwieldy, but clearly he doesn't care. Also, it'll channel blows that deflect off. Instead of catching them in here, it would channel them away from the hands, but also towards his body if it comes down on that side. Right. And this man here is probably Runeweaver and not us, because we are never depicted in the illustrations. That's like in Lone Wolf books. I think it was like Lone Wolf book 9 where finally Lone Wolf's hand appeared in one of the pictures and looked a lot younger than some of us expected, to be honest. Right. Runeweaver makes a fire in the hut while he squats on the floor to meditate. He wears only a breastplate of boiled leather for armour, and you notice that he somehow starts the fire without a tinderbox. Your spirit is wandering far away when the door to the hut is suddenly hurled open. A barbarian warrior strides in. He wears a necklace of giant weasel's teeth, a bear skin, and a strange circlet with a deep blue gem at his forehead. His armour is curiously fashioned with overlapping plates like a fish's scales. I think the artist took the scales a little bit too literally here and made them far too large and slapped them on his arm, as opposed to more traditional scale mail armour, which would be about the size of a coin. That being said, we're not talking modern coins, which are tiny here, right? We're talking the actual sort of things you can fit in the palm of your hand and have a good heft to them. He points his longsword menacingly and demands in an uncouth Norseman's bastardization of the common tongue. "Well, my two small kobolds of the mountains, I'll take your money and all of your belongings." Runeweaver replies, "What do you take us for? Mere farmers or peasants that you should threaten us so?" The barbarian replies, "I don't care if you're princes. I am Olvar the Chaos Bringer, and I'm taking all your gold. Will you spring to the attack, hand him your money pouch, or throw flash powder into the fire?" I must have flash powder. I do have flash powder. I will throw flash powder, but first of all I'm going to check if it's the only use I have, and that's for... I don't want to open a second copy of that. Let's go back out, book 2, check ninja equipment. Carry enough for one use only, but you've already used your power. No, I haven't. This is book 2, where I would have already used it in this encounter right here. So, yes, throw flash powder into the fire, and I will put a minus next to it to remind me that it is gone. I'll just put used. There we go. We'll pretend that minus is now a dash. Oh yeah. I mean, hey, he's got a sort of important looking headband and a sword. As the dust enters the flames, there is a brilliant flash. You have shaded your eyes, but Olvar and Runeweaver are, for a moment, blinded. The barbarian backs out of the doorway and you follow up with a flying winged horse to his chest, and he throws his arms up and crashes backwards into the snow. Note that he has lost 5 endurance, for you have cracked some of his ribs. You are about to run out into the snow to finish him when a bolt of blue lightning discharges from a gem at his forehead towards the doorway. You try to duck back inside, and your defense against the lightning bolt is 6, as Olvar's sight returns. Ooh, okay. Okay. So I want to go to rolls. Yeah. There we go. So, 2d6 on a 7 or more, we are taking a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. That's really a lot of damage. Fortunately, to the best of my memory, this is the last big fight before the end of the adventure. Any other combat encounters before the adventure's end are not as memorable. And by combat encounters I mean protracted combat encounters. There are special encounters and other fun things, and the The final one is very challenging, but I was really hoping to not get struck by lightning there. That is painful. Oh, it's not 6 damage, it's yeah. We may die here, actually. This is most unfortunate, as it would be a very unpleasant way to end the episode. But okay, 142. The lightning bolt catches you in the side, charring your flesh and jolting you, as if you had been hit by a battering ram, and you are sent hurtling to the far wall. Lose 8 endurance! However, if you are still alive, that really hurts, and puts us very near to death. You flip into the air and land safely on your feet. You manage to overcome the pain as the barbarian moves to attack you with his longsword. Runeweaver was closer to the fire flash than Olvar, and his sight will not return for some time. You may use the Cobra Strike, the Winged Horse Kick, or the Dragon's Tail Throw, or if you are skilled with poison needles, you may wish to use one. I do not have the poison needle skill. Also, that's a really low health value. So, Winged Horse Kick, which we've already used once. Teeth of Tiger Throat is the head, and it's a spinning throw. I kind of want to try it, but I shouldn't risk it. I'll go for the kick. I'll go for the kick and hope it turns out okay. The barbarian's voice rises to a shriek of battle lust as he swipes at you, berserk! He cares nothing for your attacks as long as his sword tastes your blood. Subtract 1 from any damage you do to him. He cuts his sword down towards your head, but you sidestep to the right, twist and lash your left foot towards his face as his sword whistles down past your back. Olvar the Barbarian, defense against a Winged Horse Kick is a 7. His endurance is not 18 but 13, as we got in a lucky starting hit through cunning use of our flash powder, which is now depleted. And we will attempt to kick him. So we're looking at an 8 or higher to hit, but we do have a +1 kick modifier, taking it down to a 7. That is indeed a 7. I'll gladly deal 1d6 +2 for a kick, and I will wish I'd used a point of inner force. 8 points! We take off a point for 7 points. I don't think that's for the armour. I think it's because he's so berserk he just barely feels a thing. However, if he still lives, he swings his sword from right to left through the point where you are standing. Your defense is 8 as you hop back. We may very well have to block this. Okay. So. 8! Oh! Okay. Okay, oh, you bastard thing. I hate it when it does this. It's an annoying Windows bug, and there's no real known fix. It just you have to like shrink everything down to get back to it. Right. Because to my feeling, he can easily do 5 points of damage. I mean, yeah, 1 die +1, so that's a 2. That's a 50-50 of death. You know. The block. During combat, if you've been hitting with. So we're looking at a 7 or less. Okay, we'll try. Yes! We take the blow on the iron sleeves and suffer no damage. However, we're taking 2 less punch, kick, throw modifier. Yeah. If you're still alive, you may punch, throw, or kick again. Right, we're unlikely to hit with our next attack. If we attempt the throw and fail, is he going to have an easy counter-attack that's going to mess us up because we will be in a slightly awkward position? I'll go for the punch, just to be on the safe side. to see if he's easier to hit. Oh, he is easier to hit with the punch. Okay. Olvar lets out a ferocious cry as, throwing cautions to the wind, he whirls his sword above his head and then lunges at you. He is berserk, lost in a battle frenzy. He will feel no fear or pain until either you or he lie dead. Subtract 1 from any damage you do to him. You parry his blade with your forearm, sidestep, and unleash a cobra strike from your hip. His defense against this is 6, making him significantly easier to hit. However, we're subtracting 2, so actually his defense is 8, so we're needing a 9 or more to hit, which isn't going to happen, really. No, it isn't. Oh, it's so close. If he still lives, he swings his sword in a great arc from left to right. Okay, so it's the same attack. Awesome. Can he please miss this time? No, he can't please miss this time. Can we block? No! Oh, no! Oh, 3 whole points of damage, taking us down to a measly 2 endurance. Right. Okay. If you are still alive, I'm going to punch again, and I'm going to use inner force for double damage. And then I'm going to roll a 2 and do 4 points of damage, because that's just how the world loves me at the moment. So, go down to 4 inner force. 6s to hit. Oh, 7s to hit. Please, oh, that's the wrong dice. I'm okay with that. That's fine. It doesn't count if I didn't roll 2. 9. Oh, yes. So, 1d6. Don't roll a 1 or 2, please. 4. 8 points of damage. We take off 1 for 7. That's still more than enough to put an end to Olvar the Chaos Bringer. Oh, that hurts a lot. And we want to be really careful after this. The barbarian falls at last, a mass of broken bones. At the end, it seemed that he would fight on forever, but his battle cries will no longer trouble the lands of Orb. Runeweaver's sight has returned, and he has been watching the closing rounds of the battle. As soon as Olvar falls dead, he darts in and grabs the circlet with a blue jewel from the barbarian's forehead. "I'll take this," he says, and draws his sword on you. "Will you fight the man you saved from the bird men for the circlet?" He's got a magic sword. Or let him go, take 5 gold pieces from Olvar's body, and either head northwest, out of the pass to the city of Far Snows, or towards the city of Druath Glennan, or turn east through the troll fens to the city of Iron Albion, or take ship towards the Sea of the Star. The way I see it, we are in no shape to fight. But I'm going to be sneaky. Book 2, character sheet. Did I have the... Oh, bugger. Right, yeah, so it would seem I did not have Olvar's headband. Book 3 errata. Book 3 character sheet. Yeah, it looks like I didn't have the headband. I seem to remember there being something in Book 2 bad, or for having the headband. Well, there's something bad in Book 2 related to this anyway, but it's a fun bad. So we're not going to fight him, because he's got a magic sword that can shoot energy beams out of it, and we've got 2 endurance points left. More importantly, we're on an important mission to save the world. And while I don't generally like save the world quests, as they've been done to death by now, this was one of the earlier ones. And more importantly, saving the world is more important than some lightning shooting bauble, especially if we don't know how to use it. And if we meet him in the future, it would be nice to say Runeweaver might remember that we didn't challenge him over this and do us a favour. But the way he's been so greedy and, let's say, covetous in grasping this and clasping it up, and forceful in demanding he gets it, you know what, we should let him have it. We are playing a monk after all, and there are times to be peaceful. So we shall take the 5 gold pieces, taking us up to 15. And I did say that the city of Druafglenan on the map, as a name, drew strong memories. So I'm going to go that way. Yeah. And maybe we'll now get to rest overnight and recover some health before we go. No, not exactly. The sea breeze carries the salt spray of the sea to you as you trot along the eastern coast to the Sea of Star. To save time, you decide to swim across the narrow eastern point of the star-shaped sea. Don't I mean the northeastern point? That would make more sense, right? Because the eastern point would be over here. Which means we could go Iron Albion, get a boat across, go to Druafglenan. Are we really going a long way around here? This makes more sense. Huh. Eastern coast. Okay. So we are completely bypassing Iron Albion to keep a low profile and coming around here and then swim across here, all this way, recovering no health whatsoever. Clearly we're pushing ourselves to the limit to cover ground and arrive quickly, because time is of the essence. Can't think of many other reasons for not recovering much health by now. To save time, you decide to swim across the narrow eastern point of the star-shaped sea, and the chill water is invigorating. So can we have some health back, please? At last you enter the narrow cobbled streets of the city of Druafglenan, which means we don't get any health back. The houses are tall and thin, built of dark bricks, save for the wooden balconies, which almost touch above, making the streets dark and gloomy. You are glad to have disguised yourself as a fisherman, since the guards are unmistakably in the pay of the monks who worship Vile. Their red-shuttered monastery runs along one side of the square of the gods, faced by a temple to the All-Mother. You notice a poorhouse in one of the dingy side streets, and, changing into the guise of a beggar, you fall in with the drunkards who are supported there by the priestesses of the All-Mother. You are planning to reconnoitre the monastery to Vile, hoping that Yaemon is within, when you overhear one of the beggars telling the story of how he lost his arm. There is a grimy and bloody bandage. Yes, I kept wanting to read that as grim. There is a grimy and bloody bandage hanging loosely from his shoulder. It seems he was once a sweeper in the monastery, but was thrown out because of his drinking. Hearing through the grapevine that Yaemon, Grand Master of Flame, was visiting the monastery, he foolishly decided to throw himself before the archmonk and beg for his job again. Yaemon surprisingly received him, but sneeringly told him that even the gutter was too good a place for him. He had a friend with him, a wicked-looking man with a wicked heart. He had the most hideous, soulless red eyes. Mance the Death Mage, they called him. Anyway, just for sport again, he said he would punish me. And before I know it, my arm drops off. I would have bled to death if it hadn't been for the priestesses. He gets little sympathy. One of them, his voice slurred by drink, asks him what he expects if he mixes with Yaemon, Grand Master of the Flame, and the Death Mage, the most powerful sorcerer on Orb. You gather from their conversation that Yaemon had been waiting with Honoric, leader of the Legion of the Sword of Doom, for Mance the Death Mage to join them in Druafglenan. Now they have set out for a castle called Quenchheart Keep, near the Goblin's Teeth Mountains. As it is now late, you decide to stay in the poorhouse and set off in the morning. You are awakened in the night by the smell of acrid smoke. The room in which you are sleeping is on fire, and a sheet of flame blocks the doorway and fills the hallway beyond. There are no windows through which to escape, The room is filling with smoke. What will you do? Leap through the solid wall of flame? I think the word solid is a pretty obvious key clue here. Or tear up the loose floorboards. Yeah, sure. We may be able to take cover under them. In the soil and the earth. Which will be bad, obviously, because it's burning. If the floorboards are thick enough, we'll live. Okay. Oh, goodness. Will this involve taking damage? The floorboards come up easily, revealing black dirt below. There is a layer of breathable air at floor level below the smoke, and you set to work burrowing into the earth. When you have made a hole large enough to crouch in, you cover yourself with earth, poking your breathing tube through it for what little air you can get, using your control of breathing to minimize your needs. You sweat and gasp for breath, but the soil protects you from the fire, which dies away when it has consumed the wooden room. You lie still as a party of monks come to investigate. It seems they had ringed the place, waiting for you to emerge, but now they think you are dead. You overhear them talking about the imminent arrival at Quenchheart Keep of Yaemon, accompanied by Honoric of the Legion of the Sword of Doom and Mance the Death Mage, the most powerful sorcerer and follower of Nemesis, the supreme principle of evil, and how they will be pleased that you are dead. That's Yaemon and Honoric and Mance, not the monks will be pleased. So they will be pleased when the monks report to them we are dead. When they have left, you leave your hole and take the road towards the Hydra's Heads Inn, out of the city, and towards the Goblin's Teeth Mountains, before which lies Quenchheart Keep. And we are so very nearly dead. Please, let us get some health back. Let us get some health back. Oh. On your way to Quenchheart Keep, you come across the tracks of 3 horses and a camp. See, this is the portion of the adventure where my mind's getting a little more foggy. My memory isn't quite what it used to be. Come across the tracks of 3 horses and a camp. You quicken your pace, hoping to catch them before they gain the safety of the castle. Following the tracks across the wold leads you towards the Goblin's Teeth Mountains, jagged and black, and before them stands a great castle built out of the same sombre stone. The gatehouse is flanked by 2 stout posts which have been driven into the ground. 2 iron maidens, metal cages lined with spikes in the shape of a sarcophagus, sway gently in the wind. The corpse inside one is shrunken and rotted, but the other holds an emaciated man whose beard and hair have grown down to his waist. He is too mad even to plead for help from strangers. 3 horsemen enter the gatehouse some way ahead of you. A man in a scarlet robe, flanked by 2 men in black. Both tall, but one is thin, while the other is built like a bear. For the first time you have sighted your quarry. The great keep itself rises high above the walls, surmounted by 3 towers, each of which flies a banner. The most northerly boasts a scarlet mantis, the west tower a silver sword hanging by a needle and thread. Hanging by a needle thread, the sword of doom, and the third, the black whirlpool symbol of Nemesis. As you approach the gatehouse, 2 soldiers drag a screaming man to a grill outside the moat. "Feeding time," says one, and they laugh as they raise the grill and throw their prisoner down to whatever lurks in the castle dungeons. Will you wait for dark before trying to enter the castle, or try to pass yourself off as a minstrel, one of the 7 ways of going, so that you can reconnoitre the castle first? This is a really tricky one. I honestly can't remember. So, waiting till night will be good, because most of them will be asleep. Disguising ourselves runs the risk of being discovered. However, if the monks have informed them that we are dead, that significantly reduces the chance of being discovered. I do remember witnessing an encounter between two of the villains in the castle courtyard. I can't remember if I was like snuck up on a balustrade or on the battlements looking down. If I was disguised as a minstrel looking in, that would make a lot of sense. Ooh, this is tricky. Oh, let's go for minstrel's disguise, because it's innovative, it's imaginative. We will be expected to perform, but we might get to rest before going about our assassination attempts. When you tell the guard in the castle gatehouse that you are a minstrel and juggler, he says that there is to be a banquet tomorrow night for honoured guests, and asks where you last performed. Iron Albion, Mort Avalon, or Druaf Glenan. Right. If we had performed in Druaf Glenan, it's nearby. They just came from there. They would have heard of it. Mort Avalon has the Arena of Death, and they're unlikely to... They'll say, you know, what point a minstrel has been there, you know, when they already have their other entertainment. So I'll go with Iron Albion as a guess and hope it works out okay.
"Ah yes," says the guard, "it is a fair city. I sailed there once in a ship. In you go then." You thank him and walk under the portcullis into the bailey beyond. "It worked!" "Unless..." He reports that back to his... See, that could have been code. You know. If we were to be like, what ships? We'd be like, no, we know they have docks there and ships sail from there. If we had come from there as well, that would be a more believable fib, but we seem to have got away with it. Yes, here is the encounter that I remember. That flower is not particularly phallic at all. It's drooping, and yes, it's very... The only downside to it is his sword is blatantly here. It makes sense, don't worry. It's like artistic oversight, perhaps. And Mance the Death Mage's robes never look particularly black in any of the illustrations. I'll have to remember how dark they're supposed to be. You saunter across the courtyard towards the bailiff's office. The two men in black travelling robes, Honoric and Mance the Death Mage, are talking to the captain of the guard and a group of his men. You stop to watch at a distance as Honoric, a powerfully built man with an arrogant and cruel look about him, borrows the captain's weapon and invites the soldiers to attack him. Several do so at once, but there is no way past his flashing sword. Okay, so the second sword being here makes more sense. He disarms 3 of them and beats the rest back. All they can do is fend off his blows, and you know that he could kill them at will. Seeing this display, Mance grimaces sourly and, pointing, turns the sword which Honoric is holding into a tulip. The captain of the guard cannot resist chuckling at the sight of this huge man, the Marshal of the Legion of Doom... the Marshal of the Legion of the Sword of Doom, clutching a tulip with which to belabour the soldiers. Honoric turns red with rage, and flinging the flower down, he draws his own great black sword. A chill of horror grips you, and the guards cower as a pall of fear descends upon the castle. The wicked blade smokes slightly, and the tulip has turned back into a sword. "Where is your magic now, Death Mage? Your spells will not work with sorcerer unsheathed," says Honoric. The Death Mage's eyes narrow, and his pallid, pinched face seems to whiten still further as he mouths another spell. Nothing happens, and Honoric turns on his heel and walks towards the keep, sheathing Sorcerak as he goes. As he opens the gate which leads to the inner bailey, you catch sight of a tower at the back of the castle which seems part derelict. It would make an easy climb. The bailiff tells you that they have hired a real bard for tomorrow, but when he has heard you sing and seen you juggle, he says that you can do a turn at dinner in the evening. Now, this encounter tells us some important things. Firstly, it serves as a reminder, in case we had not observed the clues earlier on, that Honoric, the captain of the Legion of the Sword of Doom, has never been bested in combat. We cannot expect to beat him in a fight. He is, well, he's what Cockneys would call a double-hard, rock-hard bastard. There's no other way of saying it, really. You know, he is a serious warrior. And let's make no mistake about it. Mance the Death Mage has a lot of powerful, nasty spells. However, when Honoric's sword is drawn in his presence, his magic is nullified. This is a sneaky way of telling us, deal with Honoric first, but do not fight him. Get his sword, then go for the Death Mage. Then finally we can tackle Yaemon, the Grand Master of the Flame. However, there's not a lot of tackling we're going to be able to do with a mere 2 endurance points, and it would be really nice to recover some soon. 99. Nothing to do with red balloons, I promise. Still no endurance back. Oh my god. You are watched constantly, but find time to examine the You are watched constantly, but find time to examine the lock of the gateway that leads to the inner bailey, and find a hole in the wall used for passing food and arms through, when the gate is shut. When it is time, you are taken into the keep itself. The main hall has a large spiral staircase which leads to the castle roof and vents to the 3 turrets. You are ushered into the parlour before dinner to entertain Yaemon and Honoric. Mance the Death Mage is nowhere to be seen. Yaemon watches you intently, but Honoric is at ease, pouring wine from a flagon into a golden goblet. The captain of the castle and his ladies sit between them. You sing a man-marcher song of brave deeds in battle and lost loves, and your juggling raises polite applause. As soon as your act is finished, the captain signals and your escort, 2 guards, usher you out of the parlour, just as Mance enters from the door opposite. If you have the skill of poisoned needles, you may wish to use it against Yaemon. I seem to recall this is a bad idea. You spit the poison needle into his throat, and because Mance the Death Mage is present, and Honoric's sword is in its scabbard, or not even present for dinner, Yaemon pulls the needle from his throat, and it heals up immediately. Also, we don't have poison needles, so hey. If you do not, or prefer not to, you allow the guards to escort you out of the castle. Which is fine, as I also seem to remember sneaking in through the dungeons below. And doing all this on 2 endurance is going to be really hard. After sketching a map of the castle from memory, you conceal yourself in a hole in the ground, watching the gatehouse and wait for darkness to fall. The moon is white and full, and the night is still. There is not even enough breeze to spread the banners atop the 3 towers. Will you choose this night to attempt to scale the derelict tower, raise the grill outside the moat and drop down to the tunnel below? Or you may decide to wait and see if the weather conditions change tomorrow night. I believe if we wait, tomorrow night they leave and ride off and we fail on our quest. but we really need to get some health back. I think it's raise the grill outside the moat and drop into the tunnel below is our best way of entrance. I should probably make a copy of this map. I'll just go... But I'm thinking, looking at the time, this is probably a good time to call the episode. Yeah, I'm going to leave this one here. I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, and I will look forward to seeing you very much in the next one. I'll say bye-bye for now, and cheerio!